Welcome to Emery on the Move. Darnell Radford here with my trusty travel producer, Woodsy. We are here in Edinburgh, Scotland for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. I can't wait to dig into this crazy thick Fringe guidebook featuring over 3,800 productions and events. Stay with us here on Rep Radio and on Broad Street Review podcast. For August, it's all Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Did you know that artists come from around the world and even our hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to entertain, engage, and inspire cultural enthusiasts from all over the globe? I'm going to catch up with a few performers and attendees that made it over the pond. Maybe you'll recognize a few voices along the way. So ride with us. Emery is on the move. Welcome to Rep Radio. On today's podcast, I sit down with playwright Michelle Colos-Brooks and director Sarah Norris of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe offering Hitler's Tasters. If you are here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe, you know that this production is playing to sold-out houses, and if you do not have a ticket, you probably will not get a ticket. So stay tuned for my conversation about Hitler's Tasters. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I'm in my temporary office at Fringe Central. And it is a sunny day. As a matter of fact, the sun is beaming down on us, which is perfect. We have a great spotlight for this conversation. I'm here with the leaders, collaborators of what is an Edinburgh Festival Fringe hit, Hitler's Tasters. And the two artists here with me is Michelle Colos-Brooks, who is the playwright, and Sarah Norris, who is the director. So welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you so much for having us. Good to be here.
Yes, so everyone, this production is all abuzz. Everyone is talking about it, and no one can get tickets. But somebody can see it, so that's a great thing. So tell us a little bit about yourselves first.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a playwright. I actually live in Los Angeles, and I was fortunate to have been put together with Sarah when this play when Hitler's Tasters was first entered into a women's playwriting festival in New Jersey, and by very good luck, we were put together, and we have been collaborating on this play ever since. It's been a little over a year and a half now. Yeah. Wow. We've done a lot in that time. Yeah.
My name is Sarah, and I'm very fortunate to have stumbled upon and been partnered with Michelle on Hitler's Tasters. I live in New York and run a theater company called New Light Theater Project, and as soon as I read the play, I knew my company had to produce it. Whatever happened in New Jersey, we had to produce this play. I fell in love with this play. So yeah, we put together a production last fall, and since then we brought it to Chicago, we brought it back to New York for the East Edinburgh Festival, and now here we are in Scotland. Can't believe it.
I know.
Great. And is this your first time at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe for anything?
It's my first time.
Yes. I was once here for about 2 hours, so I don't think it really counts. I didn't get to see anything. It was a quick drop-in.
Was it raining?
It as it does, yes, it was raining, but I swore that I was going to come back. I didn't even think about coming back as an artist. I just thought I wanted to come back and see stuff.
Yeah, the city is very enticing. It says, hey,
yeah.
What do you do?
See me again. Yeah.
Pulls you in.
Check out my hills.
Definitely. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the first run of this and the reception that you received then.
So Michelle won the playwriting festival in New Jersey. And
congratulations.
Yeah. And so about a year and a half ago, we did a production at Centenary Stage Company in Hackettstown, New Jersey, and it seemed like it was very well received. It's a smaller town in New Jersey, so I think everybody was a little on edge. How would this play with shades of, I guess at that time it was 2018, but our current climate, how would that be received? And people loved it, and with that momentum, we decided to keep riding that wave and bring it to New York. And it's been a great journey ever since.
So I never feel like it's not like a forgotten thought, but sometimes it seems like a company is sort of rushing to the world premiere, and then once they get that, they're just patting themselves on the back like a job well done. But then you think about, just because we had great houses here, it doesn't mean everyone has had a chance to experience this and see that. So that's what's so great about the traveling. It's the fact that, this did so well. Let's see who else can resonate with this. So that's really cool that that's happened.
Yeah, I think once we saw that we struck a chord, because we have really had some incredible emotional response. A lot of people have really gone out of their way to seek us out individually, to send us notes on our Facebook page or find me personally. And once we realized that it struck a chord with audiences the way it did with us personally, we knew that we weren't done with this piece, and we wanted to keep pushing it and exploring it. And we're hoping to, be able to continue to do that.
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, I was like, how do you make a piece that has Hitler as its orbit, sort of billable on stage? What makes this production such a draw?
I do think it's a really catchy title. I mean, it stops you in your tracks. And what's brilliant about it, the title is exactly what it is. This is what the play is, right there. We're not hiding it. And I think right away, people are curious to learn more. What is am I going to be offended by this? Am I going to be curious about this? Right away, just the title draws people in. And then I think we have a great team that are so enthused by the production, by the play, by the story, and they'll talk to anybody. I mean, I feel like they're just lovely artists and people, and their excitement is contagious, and they've brought people in on their own. And I think nobody knows about these women. Mm-hmm. And so once you see the title, start doing research. I know for myself, it was like, how did I never know this story? I mean, that seems crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just it just is a catapult for like, I need to know more. I want to know more. I want to see it. Like, what's going on? I want to be involved in that.
I mean, just when you think you've heard every vile thing about Hitler. Yeah. Right? Like, oh, these are the girls that he liked. Like, these girls were the future of the Reich. So he was even destroying them. Mm-hmm. Because as these people do, once they've identified the other and turned on him. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. And so I think people are very intrigued by that as well.
And I think we forget that when you get to a level of importance or infamy, there's a lot of people who want you to stop doing whatever it is you're doing. And, you don't give it a thought. It's like when we think about in the United States, a new administration has to hire about 4,000 people. One of those 4,000 people, like food tasters, somebody has to make sure that everything they consume is not, doesn't have something in it where it could compromise who they are or whatever important thing they're trying to do. Well, and it happens on both sides.
Well, I just want to say that I was, once Trump took office, I was, alternately delighted and horrified to hear that he talked openly about eating at McDonald's. He really prefers, of all his meals, to eat at McDonald's because they're never expecting him. Yes. So he knows that the food won't be poisoned when he goes in.
Yeah, and I did think about that when I was thinking about this, and I was like, that's probably why Fatty and Chief eats fast food all the time. And I guess it does make sense. Anybody can place an order at McDonald's for him, and they wouldn't be the wiser of who it's going to go to.
Right. Yeah.
So, talk about like directing this piece. How did you? I mean, what were your thoughts after you read it, and how did you decide to approach it on stage?
That's a good question. When I read the play, I was immediately drawn to the women. There are 4 very strong female characters in the play. And I started with that and their relationships. And how do we define them? What are the character traits? Because you think of German women, you think blonde hair, blue eyes, but there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah.
So I started with that, and as I was working through that, something we kept talking, and the script talks about their love of dancing and laughing, and I wondered how to incorporate more of that into the production, and we have transitions built into the production that kind of moves us through time. They show a lot of repetition of kind of the torture of the day-to-day, same thing, operation with the girls, but it was a chance to see their inner selves as well, and they're rocking out and they're dancing and just being young women and changing clothes, and so that was a kind of way in to the storytelling as well that I was interested, that I thought would just balance really well the script and help move us through the play scene to scene. And with that, it was great working with our designers on that part of it as well. The sound became extremely important. Not only what they're dancing to, but their day-to-day, hearing the guard approaching and what that does to them, how that creates tension in the room immediately, the fear, like all of that. It was a great soundscape to navigate and incorporate into the storytelling.
I'm always a fan of a soundtrack.
Me too. I love
I just
a good
feel like
soundtrack.
if it's quiet in this space, it's like I need something, you know, whether it's just noise of the room, so we can feel like we're in it.
And then when it goes away and it's silent, like that's so powerful.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, you've been here every step of the way.
Yeah.
Have there been any adjustments or tweaks as you continue to produce it?
Oh, sure. I think that the play, well, for one thing, we had to cut the play down for it to come to Fringe. So it's...
How long was it originally?
It generally runs like an hour 20, an hour 30, and we had to cut it to 55 minutes. So that was painful.
You're like, but all of this is gold.
I know, but every word is so
Had to
perfect.
kill some of your darlings, or temporarily place your darlings
them to
on
the side. Yeah, and so it was really hard to kind of figure out what had to stay and what had to go. But I think we generally retained the shape of the play, and so that was an enormous adjustment for Fringe, and we've had to tweak it to accommodate the space, and even some of the lighting choices had to be accommodated for the space of Fringe.
Yeah.
So I think it's gone through a substantial revolution from New Jersey till now.
Yeah.
And even before then, I was fortunate to have readings of it in a few different places, one in Houston, a couple in Los Angeles area. So I've been very lucky with this play that I've got to see it and see it and see it and see it, to be able to really try to hone it and will it down to what it needs to be.
Yeah. And as far as like the scenic design, was it simplistic from the start, or is it simplistic now? Or is it more simplistic now because of the limitations of Fringe?
It's more simplistic now. Going back to the New York production in the fall, we had a beautiful, felt like a bunker design, and there were lights like hidden in the cracks. It was a gorgeous design. Way too expensive to replicate and carry across for Fringe. So it became a very lighting design heavy show, and I think our lighting designer did a really nice job of capturing the essence of what was there. And I don't know, if we do it again, we're hoping to get back to that original scenic design.
Yeah. But when I wrote it, I did really want. I wanted it to be stark. Like it felt like it would be stark, and that it would be the right thing for the right director to be able to create a world around it. Because I don't think in the original script there was even more than a bench.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I think that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Since you said a bench, what was I saying? I was thinking. I guess I was going to ask something about the simplicity of it. For the audiences here, were there any thoughts? Because sometimes when we bring something over the pond, some of the contemporary elements may not necessarily carry. Like if a particular region doesn't really understand these elements. Did you find any of those in the writing in general, or no, it was kind of all there?
No, I think, there are certainly, I'm American, I've been wringing my hands over what's happening over there, and so there are some clearly American references to our political system, but I feel like everybody here gets those.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think there's been a lot of confusion about that. I don't think there's anything that doesn't translate.
I would agree with that.
I don't think.
Yeah. So this production is like selling out. Like, what's the magic? If there are listeners here who are fringe artists or want to be fringe artists, future fringe artists, what are you doing here that's, brilliant?
Oh, well, brilliant. Well, don't you say brilliant? I don't know, Sarah.
Well, I do think, so I took a workshop in New York with Peter Michael Marino back in December, and one of the first things he said to the group was get on Twitter. And I don't tweet in New York, really. It's not a thing.
There's a lot of new tweeters when you come to Fringe.
Yes. It's tweeting is the thing. And so our cast really, I came back from the workshop, I said, we've got to figure out Twitter. How do we do that? And a couple of them really took that and ran with it, and they're always interacting with people and make it very personal and send personal invites out to people seeking shows, asking for referrals, and I think that has helped a lot. Like connecting, people show up and they're like, oh, it's we see the tasters because they've met them in a weird way online. So they come expecting to see their friend, and I think that's helped us a lot. I also just think the history of the play, and people are they don't know the story, and I think they're genuinely intrigued. The title captures their attention, and they want to learn more about the story. I think a lot of times people come in not expecting the production that they see, that it will be more of a historical background play, but what I love that Michelle did with the play is it's very contemporary, it's very modern. They have cell phones, and I think that sometimes shocks people. The very first thing we see is a girl with a cell phone, and
Or like, this must be Fringe, but I'm still intrigued. Still very much intrigued.
I had a couple of people in New York say to me, for a second I thought I was in the wrong play when the girl came out with the cell phone. So some people are expecting something just very standard and historical, but because unfortunately I feel like the story is timeless, and the situation, history, as we know, repeats itself. We kind of put it in a bit more of a liminal space, I think. But just to circle back to what Sarah was saying, I think one of the things that we have an incredibly enthusiastic and dynamic crew of people that everyone is 100% behind this. And they're a very winning team of actors that we have. And So they really made their social media presence known, and with just an incredible amount of enthusiasm. And they started early. They started early, posting videos and putting their enthusiasm out there, so that they started making connections very, very early. And I think that was helpful as well.
Yeah.
That was really helpful.
Talking about the team, I'm always very interested in the production side because, when you're thinking about Fringe, you're thinking about scaling down, and you're looking at, like, maybe your sound designer's like, but I have 80, like, choice cues in here, and your lighting designer's like, we have, like, 60 really amazing changes in here that are really helping to tell this story. For people who don't really understand, like, what happens when you get here, how much time did you have in this space?
Yeah, I don't even know if it was an hour and a half.
Tailor at everything.
Yeah, we had maybe an hour and a half. Most of that was figuring out how to rig our. We brought a lighting frame with us that has LED tape. It's really, really cool. Of course, we had more of that when we did the show fully, but it was getting that right, getting it programmed in, getting it set. All of a sudden it was much smaller, and where do people go? So we made some changes. The people sit on the side of the stage now. Usually there's a door that they exit, but that wasn't really an option here. So that was another big, but that was kind of it. And we got a lay of the land, and then went back to our flat and started, okay, let's talk this out. What are we going to do here? And a lot of the changes we had to make were done in our living environment, because there wasn't time to make them in the space itself. Yeah. Which is terrifying.
And I know the scheduling is so tight. Was there any opportunity to sort of add shows, or is it so well coordinated that you just can't?
The venue is so stacked. It's a great space, and they're stacked with performances. So I don't even think there's an option to add shows.
We're like, this is so moving. Thank you. We just have to move these boxes. We gotta get this out. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
These girls are so enthusiastic, though. I could see them in the courtyard performing the show.
Yeah,
I mean,
they would.
They totally would. Yeah. They do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Have you done anything like a street performance on the mile or anything? Can you do that with this piece, or is it just kind of?
We haven't done that. I mean,
it sounds like you don't even need it. But I'm just thinking about the the tweaking and everything. So how do you visually present this as a snippet, or a soundbite to kind of get to entice an audience who doesn't realize what a hit it already is?
It's tricky. The problem of the play always is Hitler, right? It's a problem with merchandising.
Yeah.
You don't really want his face on a tote bag, right?
We were kicked off Instagram with our first Instagram account.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Hundreds of followers.
Maybe thinking it was alt-right.
Kind of hate speech or something like that, right? To which we say, we are not fans. We actually don't like him, but we are telling a story. It's a tricky thing, I think, to do in a snippet, because you just don't have the context. We could have them out there. The girls could be out there dancing, doing one of those routines, but I'm not sure that it's a great representation of the show. I don't know. I mean, I think if we could find that right equation, they would certainly be up for it.
Yeah. I just feel like everyone would want to pick your brain about, like, what are you doing right? Because there are tons of conversations, even here at Fringe Central, they're having conversations with successful artists about, the elements of their production that have been, that have worked. And, if they came across anything that didn't work, and how they changed, and how, if they can impart some wisdom onto others.
My wisdom would be to do, the social media thing can be annoying, and it can be time consuming.
Very time consuming.
we're a team, and so luckily they kind of split up the day from 8 to 10. Hallie's tweeting from 10 to 12. KP is like they've divided it up, and so someone's constantly responding and retweeting and trying to support
and going to other shows. Everyone's seeing as much as we can and tweeting about it as well. But it's kind of an elusive key to things, but I think if there is one, it's that everybody is so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Like everybody on our team is doing everything they can to tell this story and to make sure that it gets seen. And I don't know, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
You can't hire that. You can, and their enthusiasm is infectious. And they're out and about, they'll talk to anybody before and after the show. And everybody really supports each other, and so just being consistent and relentless and enthusiastic, and then I guess maybe we got a little bit lucky. The planets aligned a little bit.
I'd say a lot of bit lucky. But yes, that's great. So I've been talking to every artist about self-care. They have a great guide here that sort of guides you through how to get through the Fringe. What is your, you talked a little bit about some of the social media scheduling, but what is the rest of your time like? Because this production is a tight hour, and you've got a little bit of prep to kind of get to your venue and then get back, but what are you doing when you're not on the social media schedule? Are you taking in the city? Do you have the opportunity to see other shows and support?
We participated in a couple of the Women of Fringe events that are happening, which is a great movement, and we're lucky to be a part of it. So we hiked Arthur's Seat, we've taken a tour of the city, we've done stuff like that, and I think we're all constantly seeing shows, recommending shows to each other. So that's been really exciting and fun. A lot of the girls go out dancing every night, so they're very enthusiastic and young and energetic. And I went out once with them, but it's a little much for me.
We went to a club on a Tuesday night it was jumping for a Tuesday night. It was super quiet on the street, but once you got in there, you're like, that's why it's quiet, because everybody's in here making noise.
There are some popping all week long. I can't believe it.
The city is so alive right now, and I think when the weather is great and more people are outside, there's also these random concerts. Well, they're not random, but this summer session in Princess Street Gardens, which is also competing with the Fringe. It's like, look, I know you have 4,000 options to choose from, but just hear us out.
And by the way, don't forget there's a book festival happening at the same time too, and there's extraordinary writers that are coming in and speaking here. I mean, I feel like my head is going to explode with all the possibilities and all the things that I will never get to see that are just outside my doorstep.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything because of the schedule and ultimately we are here to work? You think is there anything on your list about Edinburgh that you know you're going to miss this time around?
I mean, I think I really, my husband and my son came in to be here with me and so to have the experience too, and we were hoping to be able to actually take a couple days and go exploring and see Harry Potter stuff and drive around. My son really wants to see Loch Ness, all of that. There's been a lot of work to do. That's just not going to happen. There's a lot of shows that we won't see. Like I said, the book festival I would have loved to have dropped in there. There's too much. I don't think we get to do.
Yeah, it's hard. And going back, you start making friends on social media. So you're like, I want to come. Not only do I feel obligated, but I want to. I've been contacting you for so long, so it just starts to feel overwhelming sometimes. I need to schedule it out and sit down and zip and run and tag team it. One of the girls was half in costume. We ran to a show a couple of nights ago. I mean, it's so hard to fit it all in.
Yeah. So you both have very influential, important titles. Like, this can't be the only thing you're focusing on. But at the same time, this production is doing so well, like what's next for it after Edinburgh Festival Fringe?
We're hoping to move it. We have a couple of options. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it or.
Sure. I mean, I think that there's a lot of we've been contacted by some people. There are a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of conversation about bringing this production to Los Angeles, which seems very promising. Yes. I mean, I think we both have a lot of other things going on and a lot of things that we want to do, but we do feel like we have momentum with the show, and we don't feel done, and we are very anxious to move it forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we've been thinking about that. That's always been a goal. So we've been working toward it. It's not out of the blue. Oh, we've got to figure this out. We've been gathering and creating material for the show to share with interested parties, and we've been doing that for a while now. And some of our team has been working towards that as well. So we're very optimistic that that's going to happen. So. Luckily, we've built that into the schedule as well. Let's approach this as this is a step in the journey, and we want that journey to continue. And that way, we're not scrambling to put something sloppy together and get it out. We've been, very conscientious of what we want to say, how we want to say it, what we want to share.
And Michelle, as a playwright, are you getting ideas for other things? Are you currently working on other things?
Yes, I do. I mean,
carving out time for that?
I'm always jotting down ideas.
My notes are unreasonable.
Right? I know. Sometimes I just have to, sometimes I put aside an hour in a day just to look over the ideas and to see what's going to happen with them. I am very excited about a new project that I'm involved with right now, and happily get to bring Sarah on as well. It's we're going to be doing a workshop production of a new play of mine in LA in December, and Sarah's going to come out and help develop it with me. So I'm basically just going to work with Sarah for us. As far as
and I'm okay with that.
Well, it seems like a winning team. Edinburgh Festival Fringe is a beast in itself, but the other touring elements for this piece, were they was it like the similar sort of process of getting this piece from here to there in the States as it was bringing it over here, or was there a little bit more to think about when you brought it over here?
In terms of the technical stuff?
Yeah, just in terms of packaging it and kind of traveling it. Because we know you can go to another theater, but going to another country might be different than just going over to Chicago.
So one stressful element of all of this was the table. We have a very special table that we use for the show, and we can adjust the size, but how it functions was super important, and it's very, very expensive and not quite practical to ship a table over. So a lot of research was done into how can we scrappily put together this table, and it's not the ideal table. I love the table. I don't want to jinx the table. It almost broke on us once, but that was a big element and a big stress and concern when we got over here. Is we traveled with 4 very heavy table legs, and then finding the plywood to assemble the table, get the fireproof, all of these things. It was a big runaround day for the stage manager, the lighting designer, and I, trying to assemble this table. We had a big sewing day of trying to hide all of the mistakes of the table. It was just kind of that was a special thing that it's very easy to find a table going to a theater in the States, but knowing that there was limited storage and just to make sure we had the right table, that became a stressful part of the touring of the show.
I feel like every production has this one element. It's always something like that. It's I don't know how we're going to bring
easy,
that.
right? A table. That
Right?
should be the
Should be the
easiest
easiest
thing. The easiest thing. But it was very, very...
Well, getting yourself over is always an easy thing to do, but as soon as you have to check an item,
Right.
They're like,
Yes.
oh, jeez.
Right.
Weren't we supposed to put all this in one bag?
Yeah. Well, that was we
Yeah.
started dividing up all the props and costumes so that they were carry on.
Yeah.
Because God forbid.
Right. We
Something
didn't want to put
gets
anything in the
lost,
luggage
yeah.
and have it get lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was part of the whole team. Nobody's above doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody will do whatever has to be done to make sure that this thing flies the way it needs to fly.
Yeah. Great. All right. Michelle Colos Brooks, sorry, Sarah Norris. The production is Hitler's Tasters. It is here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe. It is selling like gangbusters. If you have tickets, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. Perhaps it'll come around, or you can follow them to the West Coast. They make it out there. Do you think there will be another East Coast presentation of it? Maybe an encore?
I mean, that's definitely a goal.
Gala
and it's
fundraiser,
something
you know.
we've talked about.
It's a goal.
It's a big goal for
Absolutely.
us. Yeah.
We were really getting terrific momentum in New York when we had to kind of close because we didn't. It wasn't. There wasn't a chance to keep going because we had like a residency.
Yeah.
So it was a hard stop, and we were really, I think, finding our momentum and really kind of getting the attention that we needed when we had to stop. So, yes, in a perfect world, I think we would very much like to go back to New York. I would love to go to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? Are you
To go to
listening, Philly?
Pittsburgh. Yeah, Philly, if you're out there. Yeah, absolutely.
New Light Theater Project. We have a lot of wonderful venues, so please consider Philadelphia.
It's considered. Consider it considered.
Well, great. It was great chatting with you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I'm sure you're about to go back to social media duty or something. But it's Hitler's Tasters here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe. It is selling wonderfully. It is a shining example of a successful Fringe production. So you should follow it. How do we follow you on your social channels? Where do we go?
Because having Hitler in the title is not a good thing, HT_ the play is how to find us, or New Light Theater Project.
Okay, great. All right, well, thanks a lot. This was truly a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. So nice to meet you.
Rep Radio continues to be inspired by our community and listeners like you. We are proud to be an Emory production. Visit us online at em3ry.com. Ride with us. Emory is on the move.